What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into the CHGO Bulls Postgame. Coming to you live here on Sunday night. The Bulls get the win over the Blazers, 104-96. I'm Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. Joined by my guys, Big Dave, BAWL Sports, Will the Goat Gottlieb, Will_Gottlieb, our pal producer, Joey Spathis, hiding behind the controls. He is at Joey Spathis.
Bulls win! Bulls win! Bulls win!
There he is. The Bulls did win.
Davey Likey.
They beat the Blazers to salvage this 3-game road trip after losses to the Suns and Lakers, improving to 22-25 on the season. Plenty to discuss in this one, gentlemen, but can we start with Ayo Dosunmu? I mean, he drilled a big three that basically put this one away in the Bulls' favor, but he did that on the heels of a big-time block on the defensive end. It was one of 3 blocks he had on the night. It was a brilliant night defensively overall, I thought, from Ayo. And even on a night when he was 0 of 3 behind the three-point line before taking that big one, he had the confidence to say, you know what? The ball swung my way. I'm open. I got a clean look. I got to take this. He took it confidently. He knocked it down. I feel like Ayo and the way he's been playing well has been sort of an afterthought or a topic 3 kind of thing for us in this recent stretch of games. I feel like we need to give him his due by beginning tonight's show with the brilliance we saw in a lot of different facets from Ayo tonight, Will.
Yeah, I mean, he was outstanding. And as you said, I mean, he just filled up the stat sheet. But to me, it was more that he stepped in for Patrick Williams, who missed the game. He's going to be out for a little while. We can talk about that and his foot injury and what that means. But Ayo stepping in. Zach's been out. Torrey Craig's been out. Patrick is now out. Guys need to step up. And the Bulls had great health last year. Barely any missed games from like their real core contributors, and they did not perform as well as we thought they may have. And this year it's like, okay, now the injuries are starting to rack up. Coby's really stepped into a bigger role, but you've been missing Zach for so much time, and who knows what's going to happen with him. Vooch missed a week there, and guys are just stepping up, and Ayo was no exception tonight. You mentioned the stats, but I just thought he showed a really good understanding of his role and what he needed to do, not only to like fill in for guys, but to step up in their absence and to produce. And yeah, I mean, you said it, over 3 on threes, but still being that strong side floor spacer on that Vooch post up that sealed the game for him. So very impressed with him. And I think the big thing for me watching Ayo is that he's starting to recognize the areas in his game where he needs to start growing. And so I think he's gotten to a place where he's pretty good at the stuff that he does well, right? He feels comfortable defending. He feels comfortable running those secondary pick and rolls, getting those pocket passes into Vooch in the middle. But now I think we're starting to see him challenge himself a little bit and flex his muscles and try new things. And we can talk more about that. But yeah, I've been really impressed with the way that he has grown into a bigger role for a team that really needs him.
Yeah, man, I think you hit it right on the head, like 100% when you said he feels like somebody that's been like a third block in the shows we've been doing, and just saying, hey, what about Ayo tonight, guys? We got to give him some time. So no, you're absolutely right. Giving him his just due for the game that he had tonight. He deserves it. He is behind DeMar DeRozan for me, been the most consistent Bull from the start to the end. As you know, Coby, got off to a slow start and then, jumped in and was doing his thing. But Ayo and DeMar have kind of been Ayo and DeMar all season long. And Ayo kind of carved out a place for himself first of all, on the bench, he carved out a place for himself. And then anytime somebody gets injured, he carves out a place for himself in the starting lineup, whether it's Patrick, whether it's Caruso, whether it's Coby. He's the one you call on immediately, first and foremost, to step in and handle the business. And he's jumped himself ahead of guys like Javon Carter by being consistent and by also being awesome defensively. He had Simons in hell. He had him in hell. He had him in jail. Like, it was a terror tonight. Will, I think you also said it well too when he's flexing his muscles like that. I mean, figuratively and literally, he's doing that. Like when he's out there on the floor. I like seeing him be more vocal this year when he does something well on the floor. When you saw him get the block on Simons, and then Simons gets so angry that he draws a tech, you saw Ayo clapping and yelling and saying, yeah, that's right. You know what I mean? Like getting pumped up by that. You saw him when he was hitting shots where he had a little look on his face like, yeah, that's right. Like that kind of confidence that he is now, that he's had inwardly, it's now kind of coming out of him also outwardly. And he's showing everybody that, as Will said before, he's more comfortable now. And when a guy is getting more comfortable now, the game becomes easy for him. It becomes simple. It slows down, and it feels like it does that for him. So, yeah, I'm loving the pocket passing that he's doing. I'm loving the way he attacks the rim. Loving he's just not scared, especially taking that three at the end. I'm loving that part as well. And that made him 1 of 4, which means he missed his first 3-point shots and still shot it over DeAndre Ayton. As a matter of fact, switched it. It was cash. So yeah, Ayo has been absolutely awesome and has been the most consistent Bull for me behind DeMar DeRozan.
A lot of love for Ayo in the comments. AK saying Ayo for goon, blocking and swatting. Alexander saying Ayo is super reliable, gives Billy great minutes. Santi Long saying Ayo, the baby Bulls looking good. And I gotta say, like, yes, we got some fun, king in the fourth DeMar moments tonight. Something we haven't seen a whole lot of this season. I think he had 12 of his 20 in the fourth quarter, including getting things off to the right foot when the Bulls had sort of relinquished most of that lead. Drills a 3 and then has that patented DeMar step through move in the paint for 5 straight points. But where I am right now as a Bulls fan, I was way more into seeing not only Ayo excel and play well tonight, and even Coby on a rough shooting night. He was 1 of 9 from 3, doing what Coby does and has come to do with some strong, tough finishes around the rim and also dishing it out. I think, he had 9 assists tonight, but then also seeing good, contributing positive minutes from Dalen Terry and Julian Phillips, who gets the call up for real minutes tonight with, as you mentioned, Will, the absence of Patrick Williams on top of already being shorthanded with Zach and Torrey Craig. Look, the whole blow it up because these baby Bulls look fun thing. I don't know if you want to do that with one win against this lowly Blazers team, but that's kind of how I was getting excited about this game tonight. Sunday night game, game 3 of an 0-2 road trip thus far against this Blazers team that you're thinking, we should beat this team. We should beat them fairly easily. It was the things that some of these young guys were doing. Let's touch on Phillips for a minute. It's the first time we've seen real minutes from him in a while, Will. He actually led the Bulls in minutes off the bench with 23. Maybe some of that had to do with Drummond and his early first half foul trouble. Drummond second in minutes on the bench in 17, but you had to love a lot of what you saw from Julian Phillips tonight, right? Running the floor at both ends, playing transition defense, getting chased down blocks, and then making cuts on the offensive end, making things happen. Also confidently shooting. He was just 1 of 3 from the 3-point line, 4 of 7 overall from the field. Just seemed like Julian Phillips was in the right place at the right time a lot tonight, Will. And we heard that Billy Donovan was giving him words of encouragement before the game, saying, hey, do what you do, go out there, be a part of the game, be aggressive. And I feel like we saw a pretty aggressive and confident Phillips tonight.
You said right place at the right time, and I don't think that's an accident. I mean, that stuff doesn't just happen. He put himself in position to be in those right spots. I think a great example of that was when end of the third quarter, DeMar had a heave from just inside half court, and it missed short, but Julian Phillips kind of dove to the basket, got the rebound, and tried to flip it up. Missed the shot, but that's a heads-up play that shows that he understands floor geometry. He understands where to be. He understands the clock. He understands time management, and he has a lot of effort. He's trying hard out there. And 23 minutes, but came in ahead of Dalen Terry, came in ahead of Javon Carter, and just played, I think, a really important role. So for me, obviously, he's a freak athlete. He had the chase down block with 2 hands on his first possession in the game. That's the kind of stuff that I think we will all expect out of Julian Phillips anytime we see him. We're going to expect to see him flash that athleticism, that 43-inch vertical that led the entire NBA combine. But to me, it was the understanding of court awareness, of where to be, how to move in and out of space to create good spacing on the floor so that when Coby drove, there was an outlet for him to then clear out to the corner, and that opened up a cut for Julian Phillips. So I really liked his sense of the floor. And I think for a guy that's played 200 minutes in his entire NBA career, or 100 minutes actually, I feel like that's pretty advanced, especially for a second round pick that just has not gotten a lot of experience yet. So very, very pleased with what we saw from him.
Yeah, when I watch him play, and I've said this before the season started, like in the preseason, I expect him to do these kind of things. One, because just of what I'm just watching him, but two, after talking to Terrence Oglesby about him, extensively talking to him about him, I was just convinced that whatever I was going to see was going to be the right thing. I was going to see a basketball IQ that was on point. So, Matt, when you say those things like right place, right time, and Will, like you say, basketball geometry, like that's the basketball IQ. That's all it is. And I like that every game he plays, you see all facets of his game. And he's been doing that kind of since the preseason. It's not just one thing that you'll see. It's not just one way that he'll score. It's not just one way that he'll defend. Like, he won't just come out and just get blocks, but then, turn the ball over and forget how to dribble and stuff like that. Or he'll hit a couple of threes and then miss some layups and do things. It's always a multifaceted game for him when he's out there getting an opportunity to be out there on the floor. I enjoyed watching him play. It was just a lot of fun just watching a guy continuously move. I love the lineup of him and Ayo because I feel that was just death and destruction on the defensive end. And I want to see more of it because when that ball gets turned over, you know who likes to run? Julian Phillips and Ayo. That's who likes to run. So that's what I want to see more of. You saw him also get the alley-oop from Dalen Terry, which was just vicious and just really a cool play that they did. But, Will, you mentioned it, man. That block that he had was just unreal. It really was. It was just unreal athleticism to not did it with the one hand, but with two. That's just disrespectful. When you're blocking somebody's shots with two hands, man, that is disrespect. And he just was confident. Like, it was confident and it's consistent. And so I hope that this means that we get to see more of him. I don't know how much because obviously he's in there because of injuries. I'm sure when Torrey Craig comes back and Patrick comes back, those minutes are definitely going to go down for sure. But in the meantime, between time, since he has an opportunity to be out there, I hope Billy continues to give him these minutes, man, because he has damn sure earned them. And he's doing positive things for your team. Him being out there does not hurt you. You're not worried about him when he's out there on the floor. You're just excited for him when you see him getting that opportunity.
And I'm seeing a couple of comments here about like Patrick Williams and his relation to Dalen Terry and fitting in and that role. And to me, like before we even get into Patrick, sorry, I was saying Dalen, I meant Julian Phillips. Julian's like skill set is catered perfectly to be a role player. He moves, he floats in and out of space without the ball. He cuts, he attacks a basket. He can finish. He showed today. He can shoot. He showed today. Like that's the stuff that comes really natural to him. I don't think that necessarily you could right now or maybe in the next couple of years, like put the ball in his hands and say like, go create 20 points a night. Not that you can say that about Patrick either. But as we've talked about before, I just think that skill set for some reason is lacking with Patrick. It's lagging. It's not coming along as quickly, but I don't think that necessarily makes him a bad player just because he hasn't necessarily developed role player skill set. But that's just to say that I think that comes really naturally to Julian, and he's done a really good job of stepping in. And so when you are on the court with a DeMar and with now a Coby and Vooch, what do you need around that? You need a player who really understands and excels in that role. And I think we're seeing the makings of a guy who can grow into that.
To that point, Will, Connor in the comments said it's games like these that really frustrate me with P. Will. You see Coby, Ayo, Terry, Phillips, all doing the little things to win. It's not all predicated on offense. Grab a rebound, grab a block. South Garcon saying, I'm fine with supplanting Patrick Williams with Julian Phillips moving forward. Cloud saying, hey, man, he keeps playing like that, and Julian can take P. Will's job. This one is interesting, and I feel like it has potential to maybe be something we disagree on. Anthony in the comments, Dave, said, if you guys had to pick between Dalen Terry and Julian Phillips right now, who would you get to pick to stay in the rotation, once the Bulls, get Torrey Craig back, Patrick Williams back? I mean, I don't know if it's worth pointing out that Julian Phillips played significantly more minutes than Dalen Terry tonight. Yeah, maybe that was Billy just trying to make the Billy small ball haters shut up for a night, at least, because I guess Julian Phillips has a little bit more size than Dalen Terry does. Yeah. But man, after getting our first good real look at Julian in a while tonight, I know I've been starting to warm up on what Dalen Terry could possibly be as an NBA role player in this recent, stretch of games, but I'm leaning Julian after tonight.
Yeah, for me, it's about whoever's hot. And what I also like about Dalen is even in his short minutes, that's 3 points, 2 assists, and 2 steals, when he's out there on the floor. So he's always going to do something when he's on the floor. And did he hit a 3? I think he did. No, he missed that 3.
No,
Excuse me.
missed it.
Rimmed that, yeah.
But I am with the hot hand. I love the fact that Billy just saw it, looked at it, and stayed with Julian and was like, no, this dude is clearly the one tonight. It's on you, young fella. You come out here and you get this opportunity, and against the right team to do it against, which is the Portland Trail Blazers. So I'm like, okay, bet. I have no issue with that. For me, it's just about who's hot. If they're flowing and it's looking good and it's looking nice, leave them out there, Julian or Dalen. I don't care. I'm about getting these wins right now. So if anybody can help me achieve that, I'm completely with it. Sit Dalen on the bench, fine. Play Dalen 30 minutes, great. Shoot Julian Phillips 40 minutes, great. Play him 2 games and then don't play him again because it's not working. Wonderful. What is going to help me get these victories is my main objective when it comes to the young guys, I'm saying, and who gets these minutes right now. So for me, I don't care. I think that's the bottom line of it for me. I truly do not care. I don't feel one way or another about it. Who's cooking, put them in.
Well, to me, I mean, they're completely opposite skill sets. Like Julian Phillips is a guy that can shoot and cut and defend. Dalen is a guy who can't shoot, but he's a really good ball mover, an extra passer, and he can play in transition, and he can handle the ball a little bit more than Julian can. So to me, they kind of like complement each other pretty well. But I think the reason, and Dave, you keep mentioning, like, the reason I think Julian was in today is because, and Billy kind of said it before the game, that he was going to play. It was because Patrick was out. And so when Patrick's out, you've got now Ayo moving into the starting lineup. So you've got Caruso, Vooch, who's shooting like 22% on threes this year. You've got DeMar and you've got Ayo all in the starting lineup together. What do you need in there? You need shooting. And so do you want to bring Dalen in there now and add even less spacing to the floor? No, you want to bring in somebody who can space it out a little bit, create a little bit more room for drives. And that's what he did. So I think it was it showed awareness on Billy's part of like, okay, what do we need to insert into this game right now to make things flow a little bit more? And just beyond what we even may have expected from Julian, I think just his athleticism, his defense, the way he was shooting and moving without the ball, I think that stuff really changed the game for the Bulls for the better. So to me, it's not like a either or. I think they can actually complement each other really well. And I think it will be up to Billy to decide, all right, well, are we missing a little bit of shooting and defense here? Let's go with Julian. Do we need a little bit of extra passing and playmaking? I think at this point, Dalen, just with the size that he's put on a ton of muscle. He's more equipped to guard wings and ball handlers. Julian's not quite there yet. Not to say he won't get there, but I think if Dalen is any indication that like the strength and conditioning staff is like putting in work, I think we can be excited about both of these guys.
And also one more thing, like I think it's going to really be interesting watching them next game because they play the Raptors. So if Patrick is still out, will both of those guys get that opportunity because of how the Raptors are built? You know what I mean? Like everybody is 6'7", 6'8", you know what I mean, and long. So you're going to need to combat that with something. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Billy handles that too.
It's a good thing they both have good size.
Correct.
Billy with an interesting comment that said, the Bulls playing Julian longer minutes shows what he can do. When we do trade Zach, we may need to throw in salary filler. That could be Dalen, could be Julian. Best to know so we make the right choice.
It won't be Julian.
Or how about this? Ant in the comments said, all I've gathered after tonight's game is Javon Carter's minutes are completely gone. I respect him, but it's time for the young guns. Maybe that's your salary filler. Maybe that guy is the one who's the salary filler.
If the Bulls are shipping out Zach LaVine, they do not need to be worried about adding salary. He's got plenty to go around.
This is true. This is true. But also after a game like tonight, I feel like keeping Julian and Dalen around for at least another year might not be a bad thing.
And Will hit that right though. Like there's a connection between those two guys. Like there really is when you watch them play. That alley-oop should let you know everything you need to know.
I did also like this comment from Troy who said Julian shows a bit more calmness and control. Dalen always looks like he doesn't know where he left his keys. There's some of that frenetic energy with Dalen.
Need it.
It's controlled chaos. It's a little bit of Gundam, which you need. Let's take our first break there. We will come back on the other side, keep breaking down thoughts from tonight's game. More of y'all's comments and thoughts. Throw us a super chat if you feel so inclined. Also, of course, hit that like button. Do it for our guy, Joseph. And make sure you are subscribed to CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Big Dave.
Matt Peck.
Bulls win.
That's what Joey be doing behind the scenes. Oh man, get yourself together, man. Take your time. Take your time.
No, I'm good.
And then when you do, tell me what time it is. Oh, on the money. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets to all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events nearest you with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee. Guess what? Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying those tickets. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, and even an hour after it starts. It is not the place. No. It is the place to find last-minute seats. Find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, hockey, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and much, much more. And with zone deals, you pick the section, and Game Time does the selecting with an average savings of, go, give me a drum roll, please. 18%. And Game Time guarantee means that you'll always get the best price possible. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. That's pretty damn good. So take the guesswork out of buying those tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that code CHGO, and get your wonderful self $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem that code CHGO to get yourself $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, the lowest price guaranteed. Good to go, Golly. Please, if you don't mind, tell me what time it is.
Just making sure this thing works. Game Time. Woo!
Oh, is this thing on?
Right. I think it is. Matt, can we talk some ComEd while we out?
Oh, please. Right? You know I love when we talk about ComEd. It's the highlight of my day.
I knew that's why you came back, because you understood there might be some ComEd talk happening, and I knew you ain't want to miss that. You got to be on that, man, because it's getting easier, Matt. It's getting easier for businesses to switch to electric vehicles. That's something we can all get behind, correct? For the health of the planet and for the well-being of all of us who share it.
That's right, Dave. The electric grid is evolving to meet your cleaner energy needs as we all move with confidence towards an electric tomorrow. Whether you have one delivery van or a whole fleet of vehicles, like George. We know George Sr. does. ComEd can help guide you to make the changes that make sense.
So, Matt, what should business owners do?
That's a great question, Dave, and I've got a very simple answer for you. Go to ComEd.com/clean to learn more about the resources, fleet rebates, and infrastructure incentives available to help businesses go electric. If you own a business, 1, good for you. That's dope. Way to go. 2, don't wait. Start making your plan today to switch to electric vehicles. Good for business, good for the planet, good for all of us. Go to ComEd.com/clean.
Did you say ComEd.com/clean?
That's right. Go now and see how going electric connects us to a better way of doing business and a better future for generations to come. ComEd.com/clean. It's electric. Alexander in the comments said, why is Matt so upbeat tonight? What's up? I'm just happy to be here talking Bulls with my guys, with all of you out there in Bulls Nation. Does a man need a reason? I mean, it has nothing. It has nothing.
The graveyard of hats that's on the floor around him. That's really
it's not really their fault for feeling this way. Like,
I'm moving past the existential dread of knowing that at 22 and 25 in a firm grip on that 9th seed, the Bulls are going to sit with their thumbs up their tuchuses and do nothing at the trade deadline.
There he is.
I'm accepting that, and I'm excited about Julian Phillips.
Look what you did, Alexander.
That's right.
Did you little jerk?
Doing all right.
Gentlemen, where do you want to steer next? I did notice a couple people in the comments were talking about the whole Vooch Drummond, big man lineup that Billy turned to early tonight. I also noticed that we saw it early and then really didn't see it again. And again, Drummond did pick up 3 very quick fouls. Maybe that had something to do with it, but I also think that, Billy just saw an opportunity to, hey, Julian Phillips looks confident. He's playing well out there. Let's get him some minutes. And then, Drummond, to his credit, while Vooch was getting his rest in the second half, came up with some big plays of his own, Will.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've talked about it a million times because it's always true. Like, Drummond is a very good backup center. And I think a lot of times people get a little bit overly enticed by the box score numbers that he puts up, 15 points and 7 rebounds, 4 offensive in 17 minutes. That's great production. I don't really think those two kind of players can survive together in today's NBA, although in just 50 possessions this year, they are performing very, very well. The Bulls are plus 18.4 in lineups with those two guys on the court together. I just don't think it's really a sustainable thing. That's like a very small sample, and that's okay. Like, they don't need to have these like gigantic lineups that are out there together. And I just don't know that that's really ever something that's going to happen outside of like strange situations where they're just giving up a ton of offensive rebounds. And Billy says that he's had enough with it. So I think it's okay to have a good backup center. I don't know why it has to always be a referendum on like who's starting and who's not. I think they're both good, but I think Vooch does a lot more. And even though he's not shooting well, he helps the team become a lot more complete in ways that they need to be if they want to continue with the success.
Yeah, I hated Vooch tonight. I couldn't stand him tonight. I really couldn't.
That early shot clock 3 he took in the 4th when the Bulls were, clinging to that lead.
Man.
That was bad.
Oh,
that was bad.
Yeah, for me, it was that third quarter. Yeah, man, he didn't deserve 33 minutes tonight, in my opinion. Ayton was eating his ass alive in that third quarter. And truth be told, Ayton was cooking, in general. And DeAndre Ayton was showing why I've always liked him, because he has some of the softest hands on a big man I've ever seen. And when he gets around that bucket, he's scoring. But my God, man, the rim running he was doing when Vooch was out there, like he was just running to the rim and just dunking it just without any kind of resistance from him. It was bad. And couple that with the bad shooting also. My man shooting 27% from 3, man. That's tough. And the only time Vooch has shot like that low a percentage was like, I looked it up. I think it was 2015 where he shot 22%. It's because he was taking 0.1 3-pointers a game. So he wasn't even really.
He has not shot this poorly since he actually started taking threes.
Right. So it was frustrating watching him tonight. And I thought Drummond played a little bit better. And the reasoning is because Ayton had to actually guard him on the other end of the floor. It wasn't because Drummond, was stopping him defensively like that. It's that on the other end of the floor, he actually had to worry about a guy who could, score inside and actually get offensive rebounds. It was one sequence where Drummond was doing the chip drill with DeAndre Ayton on his back. And those are the kind of things that you want to do to a center, at least, is try to wear them out on the other end if they're kicking your ass on the offensively. And I thought Vooch was just ass tonight. My friend texted me something, and I thought it was hilarious, and I told him I'd say it tonight, man. He said, I would love to see Vooch connected pass a 3-pointer into the freaking basket. And I just fell out laughing, dying, dog. Like, so it was bad for me tonight watching him, man, and hopefully he rebounds from that and picks it up a little bit, man. But that 3-point shooting, it's to the point now where it's just been this consistently bad that it kind of just is what it is.
I see our producer Joey is pulling up a tweet here from our good friend Doug, who is one of the loudest Vooch haters in Bulls Twitter, saying only 3 players in the history of the NBA have ever shot as many threes per game as Vooch at the same or a worse percentage than what he's doing this season.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
and like
not-
you
that's not
can
great.
have a problem, Dave, with like
Not
the early in the shot clock threes. Like I agree that was not a good shot, but like you do need him out there to stretch the floor, and teams do still respect and go out to defend him, and that changes the way that you're guarding the team.
I get it.
Really bad game
I get
tonight.
it.
Not disagreeing with that. It's more just like that every single time Drummond plays well and or Vooch plays poorly, it's like, oh, we got it. Billy's being a terrible coach because he's starting the wrong guy. It's like, no. And I will say this, like a lot of the ways that Ayton was scoring tonight were like on screener plays. Like he had a couple of plays where basically like a guard would go screen behind him after he screened a ball handler. And so we just had like a wide open runway. Like Vooch, he does well to defend in the scheme if all that needs to happen is for you to get the ball out of the ball handler's hands and to another player. But if it goes to a popping big or to a rim rolling big, he can't return to cover those guys. So he has a really hard time guarding guys like DeAndre Ayton, who's rolling hard to the rim, or, some stretch big. Like that's the kind of guy that he can't really return back to after containing the ball handler. And it's where the rest of the guys have to kind of make up for that. And so that's, on the rest of the group to now make up for his limitations. So this is not me saying that Vooch is a perfect player. And obviously his 3-point shooting this year and just scoring in general has been way down. And that's kind of killing the team at certain times. But I think a lot of it is also just like the way that the scheme is built. He has to take away the ball handler, and that leaves up openings for the rim roller for 3-point shooting big. And that's why like Duop Reith had like 9 threes tonight, because it's just, you can't get back out there if you're containing Anthony Simons with the ball at the free throw line and also go guard your man.
But I will say, Will, it was in that third quarter though that Ayton, and it was a couple of them when he was rim running for sure, but Ayton was getting the ball top of the key and just putting his ass into the basket when he was just putting the moves on him and hitting him with the soft touch. Because a couple of those were jump shots, free throw line extended. A couple of them were spins and hooks he was throwing up. A couple of them he would just get fouled on because Vooch couldn't do shit with him. So
yeah, it's interesting though, because
it was a whole thing about it. You know what I mean? And you're right. The rim running, he can't stop and people have to come over and help. And I get those things. That's absolutely true. But that wasn't the shit I had a problem with. It was actually just him being actually cooked. Like,
yeah, no, really he's not
cooked on DeAndre Ayton.
It's kind of like the opposite of the Zach LaVine discussion with regards to defense, because like Zach LaVine, he can guard the ball. If you're just like one-on-one with him, he'll stay with you. But in a scheme, he gets lost and he forgets his assignment or whatever. He's just not there on time. Vooch is like the opposite, where he can like be in the right place at the right time within a team concept. But anytime he's going up against a center that's like bigger than him, he'll get put in the paint. Anytime that he's going up against a center that can space it out, he can't get out to contest the shot. And so like that's why guys like Embiid and Jokic have big nights against him. But it's also why the Bulls give up a lot of points when they play Kelly Olynyk or Mike Muscala. It's like he's not going to really like help you defend any of those individuals, but he is a good team defensive scheme defender, and that's what you kind of have to live with. But again, him being a good fit or a good player or whatever, that's all like a separate conversation, I think. But I totally agree with what you're trying to say, Dave.
Yeah, and he has to give it to me on the other end too, Will. Like, if 100%. You're going to get cooked on the defensive end, you got to go better than 42% from the field on the other end.
Totally.
Connor in the comments said it sucks because Vooch has to take those threes for this offense to function. But like, come on, man. AK saying teams are just leaving Vooch to shoot threes as part of their plan. There's a reason why you are open, Vooch. Clout saying, I'm convinced Orlando lied about him shooting 40% from 3. Like they had to pay their stat keepers to boost his value. I mean, like, okay, it was a weird anomaly outlier season. And when the Bulls made that midseason trade for Vooch that year when he was shooting above 40% for Orlando. And then his first year with the Bulls, he fell back down. But then last season, Vooch brought his 3-point percentage back up to 35 and change, which even that is like, okay, then it is, as Connor said, a useful part of this Bulls offense. When you have a big who can space the floor like that, it does not work when your big who can theoretically space the floor is shooting 1.5% or whatever the hell it is. I mean,
yeah, we thought it was bad when it was 31 and now it's 27.5.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably worse after tonight. But I mean, yeah. And that, again, that's a larger picture thing about team building and about decision making and about trades. But I'll also point this out. Anytime Vooch has a good game, I always see, well, Wendell Carter's never doing that. And that draft pick, like those draft picks weren't like, so it's so outcome based. It's so reactionary driven. All these conversations about him being a complete bust and waste of time versus him being so much better and the Bulls winning that trade. It's just like, he's going to have good games. He's going to have bad games. He's on a terrible shooting streak right now for the season, and that's not good. And I think that has larger picture implications about the next 2 years of his contract and the direction of this team over the next couple of years than it does about one game and his performance against Andre Drummond, against DeAndre Ayton.
Mm-hmm.
Song Hee and CEO in the comments said, I mean, Dalen Terry's shooting over 30% over the last 10 games. Like, come on. Is that true? Dalen shooting above 30 in the last 10 games?
Give him that respect. That's right. Get that man his respect.
Good for Dalen. Good for Dalen. All right, we still have Goon of the Night to get to because it is a Bulls W. We've got some super chats that we will get to. But before we take our second ad break, just wanted to give y'all a couple of reminders. One, Coby White did some amazing things on the court tonight, even though he was only one of them.
Right.
Cop yourself our brand new Sub-Zero t-shirt available at the CHGO merch locker. It is a dope concept that Big Dave and Joey both chimed in their artistic brilliance to help create. Awesome shirt. And you can get it right now at the CHGO merch locker. Also, if you aren't a diehard yet, sign up to become a diehard and then pick that as the free shirt you get when you sign up to become a diehard. If you're watching on YouTube, there it is. Joey just pulled it up on the screen. You got the beautiful locks, you got the beautiful beard, and of course, his jersey number there. God, I love this shirt so much. So much.
We really got to get a shirt to Coby. Somebody needs to make that happen.
Yes,
somebody get me a shirt. I will deliver it.
Dave, do you still talk to his brother on a semi-regular basis?
Oh, snap. I didn't even think of that. You're right. I didn't even think of that. Okay, I'm on it.
Send it to his bro and have his bro give it to him. Also, second reminder, we do have our next CHGO Bulls takeover coming up right around the corner. February 6th, the Bulls hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves. Come hang out with us. We're going to do a pregame meetup 5:30 before that 7 o'clock game at one of the bars in our lovely West Loop neighborhood near our studio, and a short jaunt to the Madhouse. Then we all will have seats together in section 105 for that action, taking on the very good Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards in the house, Karl Anthony Towns in the house. Should be a very fun game, fun contest. Grab yourself a ticket from the event section of our CHGO website. The ticket includes, obviously, a ticket to the game itself and the pregame meetup hang, drinks, good vibes. Wonderful time, and you CHGO diehards get a discount to that as well. Check it out under our events section, allchgo.com. With that, Big Dave, tell the fine folks in Bulls Nation about the great deals if they're looking for a new vehicle at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Ray, are you in the market for a new vehicle? Are you? I got good news for you. I'm about to tell you what you need to do, and that's holler at our guy Ray at Ray CDJR. That's Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. If you are, guess what? In Fox Lake is where you need to be, because that's where they at, y'all. And they're starting their Ray Resolution with the start of something new, this brand new sales event. Oh, and you know what that means? Do you know? Do you know? You'll be able to shop incredible savings on every new vehicle in stock because they want to clear that lot to make room for those brand new 2024 vehicles. And listen up, y'all, for a limited time. And I should whisper this because it's a secret, but I'm going to tell you anyway. For a limited time, get up to $9,000 off the new Jeep models with the dealer discount. He's giving you the dealer discount. And he said, that's not all. No. Shop their last call on remaining 2023 Dodge Challengers and Charger models, including Hellcats, Scat Packs, and more. That rhymed. Dodge is the most powerful muscle car brand. That's why Will likes it, because Will's all about that life. So you don't want to miss out on their last call with over 20, and I said 20 Dodge muscle cars to choose from. At Ray CDJR, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest inventories and drive home with more money in your pockets than you expected. I said more money in your pockets than you expected with the Ray Price Promise. So don't miss out. Shop great deals all month long and save big, because Ray CDJR makes buying a new vehicle more affordable than ever. And of course, my favorite word, free. That's what you're going to get. You show up at Ray is a free oil change when you mention CHGO at their service center, or mention CHGO when you book online at raycdjr.com/service. But you have to schedule it before January 31st. So tick, 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 y'all. Time is running out. Go get you something free, because we love you like that. If you're in the market for that new vehicle, and you have to check out Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, because they always are the only ones recommended, and they are recommended by us to y'all. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, visit Ray CDJR in Fox Lake or raycdjr.com. Serving the community since 1963.
CHGO Bulls Postgame also brought to y'all by DraftKings Sportsbook tonight. The NBA is in full swing when I can't get enough of the action on the court. Y'all know I like to spice things up a bit more by betting on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. And right now, new customers can bet $5 on any NBA action, a spread, a point total, a player prop, whatever it is, and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Doesn't even matter if that bet hits or it doesn't. You're getting that $200 instantly in bonus bets either way. Of course, they also are official partners of the NFL playoffs. Congrats to the Chiefs and Niners, who are Super Bowl bound. We got 2 weeks to wait for it, but one more big game, the NFL this season. Not gonna lie, I'm a little like, I'm not heartbroken, but I'm heart fractured for my Lions fans in my life, who just had to watch that happen to them tonight. But I did make a little money on that game. So, give and take. Wait,
let me guess. Bet the live line after the Niners went down by 2 touchdowns?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
That's the move.
Lion's gonna lion, man, and it fractures my heart. But yeah, I mean, bet smart, right? Bet smart.
That's smart.
And bet smart at DraftKings Sportsbook. Again, download that DraftKings Sportsbook app with the promo code CHGO to get to take advantage of that wonderful offer of betting $5 on any NBA action, or put $5 down on anything going on in the Super Bowl in a couple of weeks, and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with that code CHGO. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. So the crown is yours when you bet on DraftKings, which is fun. We will find out who the belt belongs to later on when we wrap up with Goon of the Night. But Joey, how about we knock out some super chats before we get to our Goon of the Night award? Let's see. We got AK kicking us off. Appreciate you, AK, saying Bulls started strong but lost mental focus. Free throw disparity was atrocious. I think 12 or 13 free throw attempts in favor of Portland tonight. Billy playing Vooch and Drummond together. Yeah. Bulls are getting better at finding mismatches. Ayo and Phillips blocks were soul crushing. Fun to see. I mean, would you guys agree? We kind of touched on a lot of the stuff in that super chat. Did it seem like the Bulls lost a little bit of focus there in that third quarter? I mean, they took an 11-point lead to halftime, and it was only a 1-point lead at the end of 3 quarters. They actually even lost the lead briefly before taking it back in the final seconds of the third. Maybe, I don't know, a little bit of road trip fatigue, but also there's no excuse for that because you had 2 nights off after your game in LA on Thursday. It did seem there were a few lackadaisical moments, but I think more than that, you have to credit the Bulls for really, strapping down and taking care of business in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I thought they locked back in. They definitely let go of the rope a little bit. But I think part of it was just like makes and misses. Like the Bulls were shooting really well prior to the third quarter. and the Blazers were shooting terribly, but the Blazers had more threes and were at the line way more than the Bulls were. So it just kind of like, if that's the recipe, it's going to even back out. And we're talking about Ayton getting a couple of easy dunks. I think he had like 6 straight points in the paint. And it just felt like they were kind of climbing back in, and then the Bulls locked back in defensively and just kind of put it away. But yeah, I mean, this team, again, we've said it a million times, like this team is not a great team. So they're going to have bad moments throughout the course of a game, but the way that they're finishing games, the way that they're playing in the clutch in general and closing teams out, I think Stacey and Adam were talking about this at a certain point too, and we kind of led with it. But like this idea that, the young players are being such big contributors in winning close games, I do think that's a really valuable experience for them. Even though it was like DeMar who hit that 3 and hit that fadeaway jumper that kind of sealed the game. Okay, well now Ayo hits the dagger 3 because he's playing off of Vooch, and Vooch draws 2 to the ball. They were in scramble mode. Anthony Simons was on him, and he kicked it back out, and Ayo makes a big 3. So I think that these moments are really good for the growth and development of guys like Ayo and Coby, and even Julian Phillips to a certain extent tonight. But because they are playing such a big role, and because those guys don't have a ton of experience, there's going to be lapses, and there's going to be moments in the game where they kind of let go of the rope, and that's okay. That's part of growing. But I think what we're seeing right now, and when assuming the Bulls don't do anything at the trade deadline, what we're going to be seeing is this DeMar and Vooch and Caruso kind of trio helping keep the floor at a certain level so that even through the ups and the downs, they're still growing without like ever bottoming out.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what they wanted to do. I feel like AK kind of said as much as far as development of players, but still actually, trying to compete. I like games like this. I mean, well, I shouldn't say I like them. Of course, I'd rather win by like 40. But when you have an opportunity to, be in this kind of situation where it's a clutch time, for the Bulls, I like looking at it because I want to see how they react. And usually the reaction was give it to DeMar and go. And the difference was this time is Ayo is the one that kind of sealed it. And Ayo probably wasn't the go-to option coming out, but he was the open option. So he was the open one, and so he took the shot confidently. So that's the play you're supposed to have because they got the ball out of DeMar's hands, which is what you're supposed to do. Get it out the best player's hands and have somebody else beat you. You would think it would go to Coby, but Coby definitely had a tough night shooting. But again, Coby's doing those things, y'all, where he's having a tough night shooting, but still being pretty awesome for the team. That is an awesome, awesome thing. That is a part of his growth, man. Almost 10 assists tonight, getting those rebounds and actually getting inside and finishing strong. Like I just can't say enough about Coby White.
6 of 10 inside
and how well he's playing. Yeah, I just can't say enough about how well he's playing. But yeah, that stuff kind of just bonds the team and kind of helps them know and give DeMar, let's say it gives DeMar confidence in knowing that if the ball is out of his hands, then other guys can actually take those shots and hit those shots. Because sometimes, and I don't want to speak for him, but I'm just going off of what I see. He just feels like I got to do this. I got to hit this shot. I got it. And I got to shoot it up. That's just what it is. And just seeing someone else do this and someone who is, quote unquote, a bench player do this and have that 3-point shot go in for him over a huge person in DeAndre Ayton is big. Like that's a big momentum thing for the Bulls because they have been losing those kind of games where they're really, really close. And I mean, against those good teams, we just saw it against Phoenix, losing those kind of close games, even if they're up by 20 or they're down by 20. When it came down to that fourth quarter, they were kind of losing them and didn't have enough to get it done. And as Will said, when you're a below 500 team fighting just to get back to that, you're going to have ass nights. Like that's just what it is. You're going to be bad on some of those nights, man. But what can you take from those nights? Did those young guys get better? Did they develop? Were the right plays made? Did you hit all your 3-point shot, or did you hit a solid amount of 3-point shots, as I should say? And they did not tonight. Or did you get to the free throw line enough times? It started out really bad. They weren't getting to the free throw line tonight, but they started getting there a little bit in the fourth quarter. And yeah, how did guys like Julian Phillips and the rookies look tonight? So those are all the things that I'm sure Billy Donovan is evaluating and the coaching staff is evaluating and looking into and building as they go forward, man. And it's the way they've been doing it all season. And hopefully, I'm just trying to see if they can actually just catch the rhythm because they still haven't caught that rhythm. They caught a rhythm from the 3-point line earlier in December, and I just want them to catch a rhythm where they're actually trusting each other as the season continues to go on.
Speaking of catching rhythm from three, I noticed a couple people tweeted out, Bulls PR put out a statement on it that tonight marked Caruso's 9th consecutive game with at least 2 made threes, which is a career high mark for him. So kudos to Alex. Shout out also to Brick Squad in the comments who said, I was in the building tonight. There were lots of Bulls fans. You love to see it. Bulls Nation is everywhere, man. And not surprising, especially for a Portland team that's 13-33 this season and doesn't have a lot to be excited for to walk through those turnstiles. 8K with another super chat saying, Will, I asked this last podcast of P. Will moving slow, whether it was from recent ankle injury. Do you have any insights on the current injury? It was reported that he was in a walking boot. I think Julia Poe posted a video talking to Pat in the locker room about it earlier today. And it's not the same ankle injury, if the sprained ankle, if I'm correct in what I saw today, that had kept him out of a few games recently and at least put him on the injury report recently. It's the other foot, and it sounded like Billy said they were going to, do some work with some team doctors and get it looked at further when the Bulls return from this road trip, Will. But definitely at least a bit of a yikes kind of update from Pat, who had been, back and playing.
Yeah, I don't have any firsthand reporting on this. I was not in Portland tonight. Obviously, I'm at home. But based on what the reporters who are there have been saying, he's had the right ankle injury and he's had a left midfoot injury that's been bothering him. And it sounds like he saw a doctor in LA and they decided that it was best to immobilize it to just remove load from it so that, he's not putting weight and pressure on it when he's just walking around, and to just give it a few days. Which is similar to what they're doing with Torrey Craig, a separate injury. He's got plantar fasciitis, but basically they put like a steel insert into his shoe to remove the load from the back end of his foot so that could help him heal quicker. And I think that's a similar situation to what they're doing with Patrick. He's going to get some more imaging done when they get back to Chicago, but I don't think they fly out tonight. I think they're going to fly back in tomorrow. And then they've got a game on Tuesday against probably like the Hornets again. They played them like 16 times.
I think it's Toronto, actually.
And then Toronto, they played 17 times.
But then it's a Raptors Hornets back-to-back on Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, we're just redoing this whole season. So he'll get some more imaging done. They'll find out, but it sounds like he may be out for a little while with this if they're completely, taking the weight off of it, which is, not great.
At least it means more Julian Phillips minutes. Let's go. Any other super chats we got to get to, Joe? I think I saw at least one or two others. Just Joe, shout out, saying Coby needs a better big man than Vooch to reach the next level. Is there anyone you guys think we could trade for? You guys are legends. Well, thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Can I just say before we say anything, trading for someone would require trading, and they don't do that. So
this is
what
I tell myself when I have anxiety about the Bulls losing a Zach LaVine trade. I'm like, oh, whatever. They're not going to trade him because they don't make any trades. Does that involve trading Vooch away to get a better big man for Coby to have more two-man actions with on the court on a regular basis as Coby continues to ascend in his career, hopefully? Because who's trading for Vooch right now? I mean,
depends on what you get. You can trade them, but what you getting back?
Well, yeah.
How many boxes of Newports do you have? Is the question.
How many boxes of Newports are you going to give with Vooch?
Maybe one of those really big, tall, jumbo-sized, plastic bags of popcorn that Benny throws on those poor innocent Bulls fans every night. Maybe we could get a couple of those out of it.
I don't know. Maybe we get it with butter. They ain't gonna let us get it with butter.
And it's just because I feel like Coby and Vooch have developed some chemistry over the last year or two in certain two-man game aspects. It's just unfortunate that Vooch is just not having a great season as far as his efficiency on the offensive end. As people who the Bulls could trade for to pair better with him, that might be an off-season project. I doubt that that's something that's happening between now and February 8th. Like that's not happening. AK said with a super chat, Coby, Ayo, Caruso, DeMar, P. Will have all benefited from the Bulls' new shooting coaches. Vooch, not so much.
Caruso.
Yeah.
So shoot.
Russo's benefiting for sure.
Yeah,
He's about
for
to shoot 50, 40,
for
80,
sure.
basically.
Oh, yeah,
And
he said Russo for sure.
to DeMar's credit, a guy who his entire life has been known, his entire NBA career has been known as a mid-range shooter, never shoots threes, doesn't shoot threes, can't shoot threes. The Bulls needed more three-point volume in this team and in this offense, and he stepped forward and said, all right. When I'm open, around the perimeter, I'll take it. And to DeMar's credit, he knocked down a big one in the fourth quarter tonight. He's knocking down threes well. I don't know if that's a direct correlation to the Bulls and their new shooting coaching, which, by the way, go read that awesome column of Will's if you haven't from a few weeks back about the Bulls growing player development staff and in particular their shooting coaching with some great insight there. But I think you more often want the younger guys who maybe need some help with their form to get that kind of one-on-one work with a shooting coach or a shooting staff within your coaching staff. It seems like Dalen's form has gotten a little less ugly this season. Ayo's form is still a little bit wonky, but it looks a little bit better. Pat, I don't know if I could say he's benefited from the shooting coaches that were hired this season because he was already a pretty confident and strong three-point shooter before they arrived. And the one thing that I've really wanted to see from Pat as far as his three-point shooting and the stroke is that it's still really a slow release. I haven't seen him speed up his three-point release at all. So, can you maybe work on that a little bit, shooting staff / Pat? But yeah, I mean, with Vooch, it's can't teach an old dog new tricks, or can you kind of question? Whatever it is, it's not good. It's not good with Vooch.
Yeah, it's not. But like you mentioned, DeRozan's definitely shooting much better, more confidently. These threes, I'm not cringing when DeMar DeRozan takes a three.
Right.
He steps into it confidently.
And it's the same form he has with his, 18 to 20 foot middies. It's just all right, I just need to have the same form and just reach it out a little bit further. Is that all of the super chats, Joe? Is that all of them? Do we cover all of them? Because if so, I think it's time for a certain award.
Oh, that
we like to call the Empire Today Goon of the Night.
Let's go, Joey.
Be the man! You gotta beat the man! Now! I'm the man. Woo!
Empire Today presenting Goon of the Night. Shout out to Joey for playing that because I am literally wearing a Ric Flair shirt. Woo! That. But yes, all they do is floors, no matter what. Empire Today, 588-2300. Pet
Empire
Today and night, Goon of the Night. Will the Go Gottlieb, sir? We'll start with you. Who is your Goon of the Night?
I'm going to give it to Ayo. We talked about him at length to start the show, but the block at the end of the game, the three to win it, the first play, just getting the layup off the tip. Julia Poe posted a funny video just now after the game, asking him about it. He had a funny answer. So go watch that. But Ayo he was great tonight.
He was. Matt Peck, sir, your Goon of the Night.
Ayo, definitely a deserving candidate. I feel like I must give my goon love to Julian Phillips. He is my sweet, sweet son. I have reinvigorated tonight my love and hope for Julian Phillips being a legitimate piece to build the next generation of Bulls basketball, whatever it is after this DeMar Vooch Zach nightmare is over. I liked so many things I saw from him tonight. He based on what we heard Billy Donovan tell him to do when he told him he was going to get minutes tonight with Pat out, Julian Phillips went out and did it. And then the two-handed SWAT chase down block, the cherry on top of 23 very encouraging minutes. All of my Bulls fan mental health currently resides in the potential growth of Julian Phillips, which is a scary, horrifying place to be. But it is where it is. It is where it is. And that's why he gets my
I'm sorry, Julian. That has been placed a lot.
It's a lot for him to take.
Oh my goodness. Joey Spathis, sir, your Goon of the Night, if you don't mind. Let us know who you feeling. Are you gonna bring yourself on camera?
Big Dave.
I don't think Joey was ready.
I was not ready. I was not ready.
I literally ask you every single time we do this, Joe.
I was thinking that was a possibility, but I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, here we
And
are.
It's a tough one. It's a tough
I
one
like how
tonight.
Joey goes like
because-
this.
You saw that, right? Yeah.
It's a tough one tonight because on one hand, you have Ayo or Gaio, CHGO, friend of the program, friend of the pod, who made 2 massive plays in the last 2 minutes of the game on both ends. And then on the other hand, Julian Phillips' block was seriously one of the most disrespectful blocks I've seen in years. It was like one of the most absurd timing, the two-handed, like he could have just caught that ball. And it was like a really eye-opening thing for me where I'm like, that's like a different kind of athlete. So my
We're
goon
talking,
night's
oh,
gonna
what a
go
block by
to-
James and that.
I'm like, that was the craziest. I'm gonna go with Julian Phillips because that was seriously one of the craziest blocks I've ever seen. Thank you.
Yeah, that was vicious. Thank you, Joey Spathis.
Thank you for your service.
appearance. Shout out George and Lisa. Well, Goon of the Night. She'll go to, and I think you all are pretty much on the head. It was down to those 2 candidates right there. For me, Drummond almost was in it for just doing Drummond stuff. For that flop that he did, because that was absolutely ridiculous. But this is going to Ayo Dosunmu. And it was originally going to be a tie until as Joey mentioned, what Ayo did in the last 2 minutes of the game. That block that he had, along with it blocking it to DeMar, who was able to keep it in bounds, and that changed the possession to the 3-point shot that he hit that pretty much sealed the game. Ayo Dosunmu definitely earned it and deserved it. I mean, he got Simon so mad he got attacked. Like he got him so angry that he got attacked just for playing defense. He didn't say shit to him. He didn't yell at him. He was just mad that he was being defended by the warden. That's right. I'm bringing it back. The warden is back on official things, baby. Oh, I want that to be the next t-shirt for Ayo, is the warden. But yes, Ayo Dosunmu, sir, this is your belt. You win Goon of the Night.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
Very well deserved.
Gio saying congratulations, Ayo, and saying well deserved salute, Ayo. Ayo looked like a vet tonight.
Yes, he did.
P-Will supporter, shout out to you. Tough night trying to claim that no P-Will, no Bulls win, but they did win. Saying I can't believe Matt Peck is a Goon winner. That we all agree on. Still can't believe that happened. Oh, y'all are getting a look at the Joey Spathis spreadsheets right here with the Goon tally.
I like all the inconsistencies. We've got Jan 10. We've got 1.12. We've got 1/20.
Well,
We've got
okay.
capitals
In my
and lower
defense,
cases.
in my defense,
Don't take me
when
into
you
your
try
brain,
to
Joey.
when you try to do like certain connotations with the 0.2, it thinks you're doing money, and so it removes the last. So you know what? I'm doing it, Will. I'm doing the hard work.
As long as
If you want me to clean up the
as long as
spreadsheet,
you know
I'd
what
be
it
more
is,
than happy
Joe.
to.
As long as
I'm
he
also-
knows what it is, it's all that
I'm
matters.
also glad we got George Spathis a vote because that's more than I have.
Always need to give George a vote. Real quick before we get out of here, just because I enjoy triggering people. Brian Ogle in the comments said, Matt, you're the most wishy-washy person. You were just saying Julian needs to develop in the G League with Adama. Nope, never said that. I've been the loudest advocate for more Julian minutes all season long. And that Dalen Terry deserves to play small ball 5. If I ever said that, it was in jest to trigger the Billy small ball haters that exist in Bulls Nation. Maybe try listening with your ears instead of your face. I don't know what's going on there, but thanks for tuning in. Thanks for playing.
Dalen's
Julian
fine.
Phillips for president. Election year. Let's go.
All right, Ian. I'm sorry.
It is what it
And
is.
with that,
We close. Bulls are off tomorrow, but we will have a pod for y'all live at 5:30 Central Time, and then they come home and then have that little back-to-back on Tuesday, Wednesday. In the meantime, follow Will _Gottlieb, Big Dave Bow, BWL Sports. I am Bulls _Peck. We are CHGO _Bulls. Also, grab that new Sub-Zero tee available in the CHGO merch locker. Grab yourself a ticket to our CHGO Bulls takeover February 6th, Bulls T-Wolves, and sign up to be a diehard. Grab that shirt for free while you're at it. Thank you all for tuning in as always. Thanks for the chats. Thanks for the super chats. We love you. We appreciate you, Bulls Nation. Have a great Sunday night. Have a great Monday. We'll talk to you Monday, 5:30. See you, Red. Be good.
Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.